I've seen plenty of SUVs roll through the years looking brand new on the outside but bleeding their owners dry under the hood. The ones on this list aren't just tough. They're the kind you can drive for a decade without sweating over surprise repair bills. Hello everyone. This is Ted from CarlandTV. It's time to hop in the front seat because today we're talking about the SUVs that'll keep you on the road and out of the shop, no matter how many miles you pile on. Before I start, I would really appreciate it if you would push those buttons below, the subscribe button, the notification bell, all of them. This is not necessary, but those little clicks help a brother out. Plus, it pushes me to give you more valuable car-related content on your screen. Now, buckle up, and let's get back to the video. Subaru Outback. The Subaru Outback is the SUV wagon hybrid that's been bouncing down gravel roads and sliding into muddy campsites long before adventure vehicle became a marketing buzzword. I've seen these things rack up snowy winters in Vermont, salt-heavy highways in the Midwest, and desert heat in Arizona without quitting on their owners. Several platforms, like Consumer Reports or RepairPal, give the Outback a good reliability score, with average yearly repair costs around $607. Of course, this is not the cheapest on this list, but it's fair for the punishment these rigs often take. That flat-4 boxer engine is Subaru's calling card. It keeps the center of gravity low, which helps stability when the road gets ugly, and it's paired with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive, no waiting for a slip before the system kicks in. Keep up with oil changes and timing belt, or chain, depending on year, intervals, and the motor will serve you for 200,000 miles or more. iCar's data confirms a healthy share of Outbacks crossing that mark, and I've seen more than a few wearing 300 Kelvin on the odometer. The CVT transmission in newer models gets a bad rap from folks who don't maintain them, but change the fluid on schedule, and it stays smooth. Inside, Subaru didn't build it to win luxury awards. They built it to survive wet boots, sandy gear, and dogs riding in the back after a swim. Plastics don't crack in the sun, fabrics clean up easily, and the big greenhouse of windows makes long drives easy on the eyes. This is the SUV you take when the pavement's just the start of your trip. Honda Pilot. I've loaded a Honda Pilot with coolers, tents, and half the crew for a weekend trip, pointed it at a steep grade, and it just kept pulling without feeling like it was working overtime. That's what I like about these. No fancy shenanigans, no fragile parts waiting to break, just a big 3-row SUV that knows how to handle business. Under the hood sits Honda's 3.5-liter J-Series V6, a power plant that's been proving itself in Accords, Odysseys, and Ridgelines for years. It's got a timing chain instead of a belt, and it's not unusual to see one rack up 200,000 to 300,000 miles with nothing more than routine upkeep. According to RepairPal, the Pilot's average yearly repair cost hovers in the mid-$500 and iCar's has it high on the list for long-term ownership. The cabin holds its own, too. I've seen second-row seats survive years of kids climbing in with muddy cleats, and the dashboard doesn't crack or warp under summer heat. Electronics are dependable, window motors, HVAC controls, even the backup camera keep working deep into the mileage count. And when you do need a part, you're not waiting for it to ship from halfway across the globe. Most shops have it on the shelf. The Honda Pilot is something you can consider as a rare family hauler. You can keep it in the driveway for a decade and not feel like you're rolling the dice every time you fire it up. Lexus RX. The Lexus RX is one of those SUVs that makes you forget reliability is even a conversation. My neighbor's RX 350 has been his daily for over a decade. School runs, work commutes, holiday trips, and it still looks and drives like something you'd see sitting pretty in a dealership lot. It usually scores high in reliability, with yearly repair costs averaging $550, which is peanuts for a luxury vehicle. That's the kicker with the RX. It's built like a Toyota, but dressed like a Lexus. Most models run the 3.5-liter V6, the same workhorse Toyota uses across multiple platforms. It's a timing chain setup, no belt to swap every 90 Kelvin, and the internals are known to hold tight well past the 200 Kelvin mark. iCar's data backs that up. Plenty of RX owners drive theirs for 250,000 miles or more without major mechanical issues. Even the hybrid RX models use Toyota's proven hybrid system, which has an equally long track record of going the distance. Even its interior is built to wear its miles well. The leather resists cracking, the soft touch materials don't peel, and all the little touches, like power seat motors, window switches, and infotainment controls, still work years later. And because so many parts are shared with Toyota models, Finding replacements doesn't mean waiting weeks or paying a dealership ransom. The RX is a luxury SUV you can actually own long-term without that sinking feeling when the warranty ends. You get the comfort and the badge, but you don't inherit the repair headaches that sink most high-end rigs. Toyota 4Runner. The 4Runner's the kind of SUV you keep around because you know it's never going to flinch when the road turns ugly. I've run these through rutted ranch trails, gravel switchbacks in the mountains, and plenty of highway hauls, and they take it all the same. Steady, predictable, and without a single mechanical tantrum. RepairPal puts it at a 4 out of 5 for reliability, with average repair costs sitting around $514 a year. For a body-on-frame rig with legit off-road chops, that's shockingly low. Under the hood, you've got Toyota's 4-liter V6, an engine that's been around long enough to build a cult following. No turbo to baby, no overcomplicated electronics. Just a big, naturally aspirated motor that'll eat up the miles if you keep fluids fresh. I've seen 4Runners on forums clock 300,000 miles still running their original drivetrain, and iCar's data backs up that kind of lifespan. What makes the 4Runner special is how little it seems to care about abuse. The suspension can handle years of rough roads without chewing through bushings. The interior plastics shrug off mud and sun, and even the rear window motor, which is one of those features people love, just keeps working. When you do need a part, it's sitting on a shelf somewhere nearby because Toyota hasn't gone changing things every 2 years. This crossover is not pretending to be rugged. It's a truck that just happens to haul your groceries too. And it'll do it for decades if you treat it right. Toyota Highlander. My old man's 2014 Highlander has been through more family road trips than I can count. Coast to coast, camping in the Rockies, hauling half a soccer team in July heat, and it's never left anyone thumbing through roadside assistance. RepairPal rates it 4, 0 out of 5 on reliability. And when you break down the numbers, you're talking about $489 a year in repairs. That's barely more than what I drop on the fishing boat. Toyota's 3.5-liter V6 under the hood is the same kind of tried-and-true motor you'll find in their Tacomas and Camrys. Timing chain setup, solid block, not prone to overheating. Keep oil and coolant in it, and you're staring down 200,000 miles like it's just another Saturday. iCars has plenty of data showing Highlanders sailing past that mark, and I've seen them go further. No drama. The hybrid version? Same story. Toyota's been building hybrids long enough that the battery packs often outlast the first owner. The thing that sticks out most to me isn't just the drivetrain. It's how the rest of the rig holds up. Door hinges don't sag. Seat cushions stay firm even after years of car seats and spilled juice boxes. And when something does need fixing, every parts counter in the country has what you need, usually same day. It's one of those SUVs that just keeps showing up for the job, even when the miles pile high. Mazda CX5. I've driven plenty of small SUVs, but the Mazda CX5 is the one that feels like it's actually glad to be on the road with you. It's got that tight steering and solid ride that makes highway runs easy and backroads fun, but underneath all that, it's just plain dependable. RepairPal pegs it at a 4 out of 5 for reliability, which puts it above average in the segment, and you're only looking at about $447 a year in repairs and maintenance, which is still well below what most folks are shelling out for similar rigs. iCars ranks this SUV high for longevity too, with a healthy number hitting 200,000 miles and beyond when cared for right. I've seen first-gen models with 250 Kelvin on the clock that still drive like they've got a lot of fight left in them. Mazda's 2.5-liter naturally aspirated engine is a big part of that. No complicated turbos to babysit on the base models, just a strong, straightforward power plant that's easy to service. Even the turbo version, if you keep up on oil and cooling system checks, will keep pulling hard for years. Inside, the CX5 doesn't just hold up mechanically, it ages well where you sit, too. The seats keep their shape, the trim doesn't rattle apart, and Mazda's interior design doesn't fall victim to peeling plastics like some others do after a few summers. It's the kind of SUV you can buy for the drive, but end up loving because it never gives you a reason to curse it in the driveway. Honda CR-V. I've put more miles on a CR-V than I can count, and this thing's been as steady as a fence post in the middle of a Texas pasture. RepairPal scores it 4.5 out of 5 for reliability, and I've lived up to that number. My yearly repair tab? Right around that $400 mark, they talk about oil, brakes, a couple of sets of tires. Never once had it broken down on the side of the road with the hood up. The folks over at iCars will tell you a CR, V's got a real shot at blowing past 200,000 miles, and I've met owners who've doubled that. My buddy's 2009 is sitting at 312 Kelvin, still on the original transmission, just because he keeps the fluids fresh. That's how Honda builds these things. Practical, no-nonsense engineering that takes to the highway like a mule to a plow. Mine's got the 1.5-liter turbo and, yeah, it likes clean oil, but it'll haul camping gear, kids, and a load of firewood without complaining. The CVT's smooth when you treat it right. Ignore the horror stories from folks who never cracked the maintenance schedule. The cabin? Tougher than it looks. The seats haven't sagged, buttons still click, and the plastics haven't cracked under the summer sun. It's the kind of SUV that just keeps showing up for work, no matter what you throw at it. Toyota RAV4. I've driven a fair share of crossovers, but the Toyota RAV4 always felt like that reliable old hunting buddy, steady as a rock, mile after mile. Toyota built this one on simple, time-tested mechanics, and it shows in the numbers. JD, Power gives the 2025 RAV4 an 80 out of 100 for quality and reliability, which puts it squarely in the solid, dependable lane for SUVs. Take those highway miles. Owners report RAV4 second routinely hitting 250,000 to 300,000 miles, with nothing more than routine upkeep. I've seen first-gen rigs go past 200,000, with people praising how easy they are to service and how parts are still everywhere. One owner on a forum even said, if you keep up with basic maintenance, these things could squeak by 300 Kelvin without major drama. That said, there are a couple of gotchas. Earlier models, like mid-2002 with the 2.4-liter engine, had oil-burning issues, and Toyota even launched an oil consumption warranty program for some of those. But by the time they flipped to the 2.5-liter engines post-2010, those worries mostly disappeared. Even regulators gave the RAV4 a pass. The NHTSA closed a probe into possible battery compartment fires in 2013, 2018 models, attributing most issues to old or aftermarket batteries and not the RAV4 itself. Bottom line, this SUV is the real deal for folks who want dependable miles without sweat.